YouTube land. How are all of you fantastic folks out there doing? Now, I know it's been a little while, just about a week or so, but last week, in the middle of the week, we had a little bit of a medical scare that we spent a couple days in the hospital in observation for. So I wasn't able to make any videos since I didn't have my laptop with me. Now, I know I've been promising all of you a video of Big Mike audits, but I had to put him on the back burner once again because I'm waiting for some information from the Michigan prison system and the Monroe County, Michigan Circuit Court system to make sure that I have the right criminal history of the right guy. Now, I don't want to go out there and make a mistake like I did with the information that I had received on NC audits. And just a message to the fucktard lenslicker out there who demanded that I apologize to NC audits for getting the wrong person. Well, tell that dipshit to put an email address on his channel, and I will apologize to him. So, about 50 people have emailed me and told me that Central Tyrant Investigations, Alexander, had doxed himself in a video. Well, I have been telling everyone that with the help of a subscriber, I was able to identify Central Tyrant Investigations last week, right before I went into the hospital. I was going to expose I Am Free Inland Auditing Media, whose name is not Steve, like he likes to tell everyone. It's Robert. Anyways, but first, then old Alexander had to go and get arrested again for doing a really big dumb thing. So I have decided that Alexander Cannon Crawl, whose last name will be redacted so he can't privacy strike me, should get done first. So check out this little piece of information that he gave in his video, which I want to thank Frauditard Troll. I used his video instead of Alexander's.
What's up? I know. FTP for sure, man.
So, if you don't know what FTP means, the letters FTP stand for Fuck the Police. Now, I find that quite interesting, since a few years back, Xander, as he calls himself on his X page, as you can see, wanted to be a policeman himself. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Old Alexander Cannon Crawl even claims he was in training to be a policeman. Oh my, how the world does turn, huh? So if it's true, old Xander or Alexander was in training to be a police officer, and he isn't one now. So it must be he fucked up in the academy or on the job while he was young and on probation, and he got fired. Nothing more needs to be said about that little subject, does it, folks?
All right, y'all. Well, let's get it started, man. So I'm out here for work right now. So I decided, hey, while I'm out here in Paducah, Kentucky, why not go record, guys? Why not go record? So I was actually going into Verizon to get a new phone, but there was a bank next to Verizon. So you guys already know what we had to do. So I was on Verizon's, it's not Verizon's property, but they share the property with multiple businesses. I was in the back alleyway recording the bank.
So tell me, folks, how does Alexander know Verizon doesn't own that whole property? Did he ask? Did he do a property survey? Alexander says he is brand new to the Paducah, Kentucky area, but he knows all about the property lines of stores? Yeah, and that doesn't sound suspicious at all that you're filming a bank in an alley. Didn't they teach you in that police academy what is suspicious and what isn't? Or didn't you last long enough for that class? So now further into the video, listen to what he says here.
The officer came. Well, the bank obviously called the police department They told them that I was on their property, which I wasn't. The officer came and he saw where I was standing. So he went inside of Verizon after talking to me and asked them if they wanted me off of their property. Guys, like, I had business in Verizon. I was going to go in there, get a new phone, blah, blah, blah. So he went inside of Verizon, asked them if they wanted me off their property. They didn't know I was back there. So I asked the cop why he solicited the trespass.
Now, I challenge Alexander Cannon Crawl or any other frauditor out there to show me a law or a policy that says, quote unquote, soliciting a trespass is against the law or a policy. This is nothing more than some nonsensical bullshit that some other frauditor came up with years ago, and all the rest of those frauditors have just been regurgitating the same dumb thing ever since. Now, please, just stop it, would you? Do you know how dumb you sound? Well, all right, let's listen to this part of his video.
I walked down to the end of the building. It wasn't Verizon's side, it was another business's side. And the officer still said Verizon owned all of that, which obviously they didn't. He said Verizon can tell you to get off the entire parking lot. So yeah, guys, he solicited trespass. He grabbed my arm and he arrested me. I asked for a supervisor. He refused.
Now, I have been on 2 different departments, 3 if you want to count the military, and I have never heard of a department that has a policy that an officer must call a supervisor if demanded by a citizen. So if you're a cop, a deputy, a trooper, a constable, or a marshal, or whatever in your town, and you're watching this, does your department have a policy that states that you are mandated to call a supervisor? Please, please, please comment down below so that I will know of a department that does. I would love to see a policy of this. And lastly, we're going to listen to this old police trainee, Alexander, as he says this.
Another officer came out, and that's when they put me in handcuffs and put me in the back of the vehicle. The other officer called a supervisor. The supervisor came out and said, "What do you want? We're not talking about this. That's what court is for."
Yo, Xander, did you really think the supervisor had to listen to your side of the story? Do you know what I used to tell my guys, ladies and gentlemen? That if you call me every time someone demands a supervisor, you're giving away your own authority. And the next time you have to deal with that shithead, he's just going to demand a supervisor to overcome you. Now, I used to tell my guys that if you need me, I don't mind coming to the scene. But if you call me to a scene because some civilian demanded it, there better be a goddamn good reason I'm there. So, with Central Tyrant Audits, whose Alexander Cannon Crawl has become a frauditard, he has the only 2 arrests that I could find for him, including his latest arrest there in Kentucky, that he claims he was in the area for work. So let's take a look at what I could find on him, and it all fits on one page. It looks like in July of 2019, he got a speeding ticket out of St. Clair County, Illinois. He was found guilty, given 90 days of court supervision, and a $164 fine and fees. And when we go ahead 4 years, over 4 years, and on August 29th, 2023, he's caught speeding again, this time in Zanesville, Ohio, which is in Muskingum County. He was doing 67 and a 55. He was found guilty, given a $165 fine and fees. And just 2 months later, on October 30th, 2023, he failed to stop for a train signal that was in St. Clair County, Illinois, and that charge ended up being dismissed. Interesting. Now, the two criminal charges that I could find on him, one is from April 8th, 2024, where he was charged with trespassing.
You literally told me to come back to this side of the thing, and I did.
What's on the inside? Okay. Wow, you guys are
another camera turned on.
I don't know if you all remember that video or not. He was in the back parking lot of the St. Louis, Missouri Metropolitan Police South Patrol Division station. He was in the back parking lot, and they tried to get him to leave, and he didn't think he had to because it was public property. Anyways, he ended up pleading guilty to a miscellaneous health and safety ordinance and was given a $307 fine and fees. Interesting that he never talked about that or put out a video on that or anything. And then, of course, just 2 days ago, on March 24th, 2025, in Paducah, Kentucky, as you see, he was charged with criminal trespassing in the 3rd degree, which is a misdemeanor. And as you see right here, he has an arraignment on April 8th, 2025 in court. Now, I found 6 other charges in Madison County, Illinois. One was a criminal charge, 5 were traffic charges. But unfortunately, I cannot prove that they are him because, one, I don't have a photo of the booking, or I don't have a date of birth on those charges, or an address or anything that I can put back to him. So there may be 6 more charges in his history that if I could prove, I could put on here. But since I can't, I won't. He's got 2 civil cases in May of 2019. The Dubuque County, Iowa Child Support Services went after Alexander for child support. Then child support ended up being ordered, and an income withholding order was put out there also. They did not say in the court document how much child support was, though. And then in just 3 months ago, on December 27th, 2024, Professional Business Collections went after Alexander Cannon Crawl for a small court case in Warwick County, Indiana. But interestingly enough, if you look here and at the Indiana County, or the Indiana State Court website, there's no case against him. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. So, but I wanted to show that. So we got the header here. He's Central Tyrant Investigations. Alexander Cannon Crawl. Cross out his last name there. Otherwise, he will dox me. He was born in November of 1993. He's just a kid. He's 31 years old. 2 addresses for him. One is in St. Louis, Missouri, which was valid as of December of last year. I don't know, but I found another address for him in Glen Carbon, Illinois. He likes to call himself AJ in some of his videos. That actually was his downfall. We actually ended up finding out what AJ stood for, myself and the other subscriber, and we went out and I was able to go backwards, and on the Missouri County or Missouri Court website, I was able to go back and find this trespassing charge, and then it all fell in together because I remember that video. Anyways, got 3 or 4 email addresses for him here. Of course, we have to block, because if you don't, they'll do a privacy strike on you. We don't want that happening. So that right there is going to be the criminal and traffic history that I could find on Central Tyrant Investigations. Mr. Alexander Cannon Crawl. Most likely he's going to be from St. Louis, Missouri. Interesting that AJ puts on his X profile that he loves God and wants to put the Lord first. I must have missed that chapter of the Bible where it says it's okay to harass the police and banks and, your fellow man. Oh, and look at what I found here. Dad and Mom are very big in the Mount Joy Church in Edwardsville, Illinois, where Alexander grew up. I wonder how proud they are of what their son Alexander has become. Maybe I will write to them and ask, and if I get a good response, I'll make an update video for y'all. Well, the Officer Down Memorial page tells us that 17 law enforcement officers have lost their lives in the line of duty so far in 2025, as have 5 canine dogs. BlueHelp.org is telling us that 27 law enforcement officers have taken their own lives so far this year in 2025. Folks, what is going on this year that law enforcement officers are taking their own lives in such a staggering number? Please, if you know someone who's contemplating hurting themselves, or you yourself are thinking of hurting yourself, please call one of these numbers on the screen right now and talk to someone. You will be glad that you did. Please don't take a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And that's it for today's, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that like and subscribe button. Share this video, that way this information gets out further and further, and tell a friend or two about the channel. Don't forget about our Patreon page, where you can see all of the unedited information on frauditors that we exposed here, all just for $1 a month. It's going to be a crapshoot as to who's up next, folks. Yeah, I guess it just depends on what information I receive first. But until then, you all, please take care out there now.